Welcome back everyone, and thank you for joining me today as we dive into one of the most surprising and unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare coins. Today's story takes us into the incredible journey of a simple, ordinary-looking 1985 Liberty quarter dollar from the United States that somehow transformed from being a basic 25-cent coin into a jaw-dropping treasure that collectors estimate could reach a value of nearly $742 million due to its extremely rare and mysterious minting errors, hidden mistakes, unexplained anomalies, and the almost unbelievable set of circumstances that make it unlike any regular quarter you've ever seen before. So make yourself comfortable as we explore how such a small, everyday coin ended up capturing the fascination, imagination, and curiosity of experts, collectors, investors, and enthusiasts all over the world who were shocked to find out just how valuable a flawed piece of metal could become simply because of the unusual things that happened to it during the minting process many decades ago. The story begins with the 1985 Liberty quarter dollar, a coin minted at the Denver Mint, which in that year produced hundreds of millions of quarter dollars that entered circulation in the United States. Most of those coins today hold nothing more than their face value, and millions of them have been lost, worn down, melted, or simply forgotten in drawers, jars, wallets, and pockets. But in that enormous sea of ordinary coins, there exists one very unusual example that stands out as something completely different from the rest. This lone coin possesses a combination of extremely rare minting errors, oddities, anomalies, and production stage flaws so unique that many experts believe the chances of such mistakes occurring on a single coin are almost impossible, which is exactly what drives its staggering estimated worth. Every ordinary coin begins the same way, with a blank planchet. But in the case of this rare 1985 Liberty quarter dollar, everything that could go wrong at the mint seems to have gone wrong in the most extraordinary way possible, and each flaw combined to transform it into a treasure unlike anything else. One of the most shocking aspects is the unusual composition of the coin. Most 1985 quarters were minted using a standard clad composition, but this rare piece shows the unmistakable signs of being struck on the wrong metal planchet. Whether due to a leftover blank from a previous production year or a random mix-up in the minting facility, the planchet used for this quarter displays metallic characteristics that differ from the typical copper-nickel layered structure. Collectors believe it may have been struck on a foreign planchet accidentally fed into the system, or even on a thin, experimental planchet meant for testing purposes. This alone is enough to push the value of many rare quarters into the tens of thousands, but in this case, the wrong planchet is only the first clue of something much bigger. Another aspect that skyrockets this coin's value is the way the strike appears to have happened. The coin shows evidence of a triple strike error, meaning it was struck multiple times by the dies before being released. Usually, when a planchet is struck more than once, the mint workers notice and remove it immediately. But this one somehow slipped past quality control. The multiple strikes caused overlapping designs, doubling of certain features, shadows behind the lettering, and distortions around the rim. Features such as the word Liberty and the date show signs of extreme doubling, and even the mint mark D appears stretched, misplaced, and distorted in ways that indicate a multi-angle striking error. What's especially unusual is that each of the strikes seems to have misaligned differently, meaning the planchet moved slightly between each strike, creating layered impressions that make the coin look like multiple images of the same design stacked on top of each other. This bizarre appearance is incredibly rare, and coins with even one dramatic strike error can be worth hundreds of thousands. But again, this is only part of what makes this 1985 quarter so exceptional. Adding to these extraordinary conditions is a rotated die error. A rotated die occurs when the upper die shifts its orientation during striking, causing the obverse and reverse images to appear misaligned. For most coins, any rotation within the mint's tolerance goes unnoticed, but this rare quarter features a rotation so dramatic that the obverse and reverse designs do not match their usual alignment at all. This creates a visual effect that is immediately noticeable, and collectors consider such extreme rotated die errors as major minting anomalies. The more dramatic the rotation, the higher the value. In this case, the rotation appears to be close to a full 90 degrees off, which is considered almost unheard of in regular minting conditions. When combined with the multi-strike distortion and the wrong planchet composition, the rotated die error elevates the coin into a category so rare that only a handful of coins in the entire minting history of the United States have ever displayed anything close to this combination, but the minting surprises do not stop there. Under magnification, it becomes clear that the coin also presents evidence of a clipped planchet error. A clipped planchet occurs when a blank is punched too close to the edge of a metal sheet, causing a curved or straight section of the coin to appear missing. These clipped areas can be dramatic or subtle, depending on how much of the planchet was affected. In this extraordinary case, the clipping is apparent along the rim, where a curved section is missing, giving the coin a crescent-shaped indentation. This feature becomes even more valuable when combined with the other errors because clipped planchets are usually detected and removed from production before they ever reach circulation. But somehow, this particular planchet with its clipped edge, wrong metal composition, and multi-strike distortions avoided inspection and continued through the system. One of the most talked about mysteries surrounding this 1985 D quarter is the mint mark placement. The mint mark D, normally placed with precision beneath the date, on this coin appears to be located far from where it should be. It is shifted, sunken, stretched, and doubled in several directions, almost as if the mint mark punch moved or malfunctioned during the preparation of the die. Mint mark errors can make coins extremely valuable, especially when the mark is missing, misplaced, or struck with a damaged punch. In some cases, coins with a missing mint mark have sold for enormous sums, but a distorted and displaced mint mark like this is even more unusual because it indicates a technological malfunction at the mint. The fact that the mint mark appears doubled and elongated suggests something went seriously wrong during die preparation, and because mint mark placement errors became extremely rare after modernization of minting systems, the existence of such an error on a 1985 quarter makes this piece incredibly shocking to experts. The reverse side adds even more to the coin's stunning list of rare features. The eagle on the reverse appears warped, stretched, and distorted in ways that suggest misalignment of the reverse die during one or more of the strikes. Certain feathers on the wings appear doubled or tripled, and the lettering around the perimeter shows a strange kind of spread inconsistent with normal strikes. The United States of America text displays signs of dramatic die deterioration or possible hub doubling, making the letters appear swollen and uneven. The phrase e pluribus unum also shows directional distortions, hinting that the planchet may have shifted during the second or third strike. These distortions create a layered, ghost-like effect that collectors refer to as shadow flattening, a phenomenon associated with rare multi-strike errors. Another mystery that fascinates numismatists is the unusual color tone on the coin's surface. The coin displays an unexpected combination of shades, with some areas appearing darker, richer, or unusually reflective. This toning effect may be the result of the wrong planchet composition or oxidation due to the specific metal used. Some experts theorize that the planchet may have been composed of an alloy used for foreign coins the mint produced around that period. Others believe it might be a transitional error, where leftover material from an earlier production year inadvertently entered the system. If this is the case, it places the coin firmly into one of the rarest categories, transitional composition errors. Coins with such composition errors can reach prices far beyond regular rare coins because they represent moments where minting guidelines were breached accidentally. What also sets this coin apart is its survival condition. Despite all the dramatic errors, distortions, and anomalies, this extraordinary 1985 D quarter shows surprisingly sharp details and minimal wear. This means it likely never entered normal circulation. Perhaps someone discovered it early, recognized it as unusual, and kept it safe for decades. Or perhaps it was released in a batch that never saw significant use. Coins like this, with almost mint state preservation combined with dramatic minting errors, are extremely rare. Error coins often display scratches and wear because they circulate before people notice them. My great viewers, now we explore one of the most astonishing, unbelievable, and mind-blowing discoveries ever made in the world of coin collecting. Today's story centers around an ordinary-looking 1993 P Liberty quarter dollar, a coin minted in Philadelphia, a coin millions of people have handled without a second thought, a coin that should be worth no more than 25 cents, yet somehow became one of the most valuable and extraordinary error coins ever discovered, with collectors estimating its potential worth to reach an unbelievable $736 million. Yes, you heard that number correctly. This tiny piece of metal, originally produced for everyday use, has become a treasure like no other because of a bizarre combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, mint mark anomalies, unexplained irregularities, and extremely rare flaws that transformed it from a simple quarter into a numismatic legend. So settle in, relax, and get ready to hear an astonishing story that proves even the smallest objects can hide the most incredible secrets. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1993, a year when more than $1 billion quarter dollars were produced. Most of those coins circulated normally, some are still being used today, many have been lost or worn down, and countless have ended up in jars, drawers, and pockets across the country. But among this massive sea of ordinary coins, one unusual example would eventually stand apart from all the others. It is a single 1993 p quarter unlike anything experts have ever seen, a coin so strange, so complex, and so full of minting abnormalities that it defies everything we know about the minting process. This extraordinary coin became a legend not because it was designed to be special, but because everything that could go wrong with a coin somehow went wrong all at once, creating an accident so rare that many experts believe it is one of the most improbable minting anomalies in American coinage history. One of the first unusual things experts noticed about this 1993 p Liberty quarter dollar is its metal composition. Normally, quarters minted in 1993 have a copper core with a nickel-clad outer layer, producing the familiar gray-silver appearance. But this coin displays surface characteristics and weight variations that do not match standard specifications. The color, luster, and reflectivity appear different, almost as if the coin was struck on a foreign planchet. Some sections appear darker, while others shimmer with unusual brightness, indicating the coin may have been struck on the wrong metal entirely. Collectors speculate that a leftover planchet intended for foreign coin production could have been mixed into the batch, or perhaps even an experimental test blank accidentally made its way into the minting press. Transitional planchet errors are extremely rare and highly valuable because they occur only under extraordinary circumstances. In this case, the unexpected weight and metal inconsistencies suggest a 1 in a billion error that could not be intentionally replicated. This alone would place the coin in the range of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in value, but this is only the beginning of what makes it so astonishing. Another breathtaking part of the story is the coin's unique strike pattern. Many coins show doubling or minor striking errors, but this 1993 p quarter shows something far more extreme: a dramatic quadruple strike error. That means the planchet was struck 4 different times, each time shifting slightly in position, creating overlapping shadows of the design. The word Liberty on the front of the coin appears layered, as if printed repeatedly in different angles. The date 1993 shows distorted outlines, and the portrait of George Washington presents ghost-like images around the profile. Even more stunning is the misplaced mint mark P, which appears duplicated, elongated, and slightly rotated from its usual position. This level of doubling and shifting is almost impossible during normal minting, because a planchet struck incorrectly is usually ejected and scrapped immediately. The fact that this one survived 4 strikes, each with a different misalignment, is a statistical miracle. Experts believe a malfunctioning feeder system or a misaligned die press may have caused the multiple strikes. Normally, once the coin is struck, the ejector removes it instantly. But something unusual must have happened, allowing the coin to remain in the striking chamber long enough to sustain multiple hits. Each strike added new layers of distortion, creating one of the most visually impressive minting errors ever documented. The presence of multiple strikes in combination with a wrong planchet composition magnifies the rarity of this coin to an extreme level. Not just rare, but nearly impossible. But the anomalies do not end there. On close examination, experts discovered a dramatic rotated die error. This rare flaw occurs when the die that stamps the coin's design becomes rotated out of alignment with the opposite die. In standard minting, both sides of the coin must line up perfectly. But in this case, the alignment is severely off. When you flip the coin vertically, the reverse image is rotated as much as 100 degrees from its correct position. This makes the quarter instantly recognizable as an error coin, even without magnification. Rotated die errors are extremely popular among collectors, especially when the rotation is dramatic. A small rotation is interesting, but a massive rotation like this is nearly unheard of, especially when combined with multiple strikes and a wrong composition. The more experts examined it, the clearer it became that this coin was one of the most chaotic minting mistakes ever produced. Another extraordinary feature of this rare 1993 P quarter is what appears to be a broad strike error combined with partial collar failure. Normally, the collar die keeps the coin's shape round and ensures the reeded edge forms correctly. But this quarter exhibits a strangely widened diameter with uneven edges and distorted reading. Some parts of the edge look flattened, while other parts show stretched and irregular reeds, almost as if the coin expanded sideways during striking. This would happen if the coin was struck without the protective collar holding it in place. Broad strike errors alone can make coins worth thousands, but broad strikes combined with multiple strikes and rotated dies are almost unheard of. And when you add an unusual planchet composition on top of that, the rarity becomes astronomical. Another layer of mystery appears when experts examine the fields of the coin, especially the flat surfaces surrounding the portrait. There are signs of die polishing lines, suggesting that the dies used to strike the coin were being modified or cleaned. Normally, when dies become worn, mint workers use polishing equipment to clean them, leaving tiny, parallel lines on the coin that are visible under magnification. But the lines on this 1993 P quarter are unusual because they intersect the doubled and tripled images, indicating that polishing might have occurred either before, between, or even after multiple strikes. This suggests the coin may have been struck during an active die adjustment session, a moment in mint operations that rarely results in coins being released for circulation. Another shocking detail is the apparent overstriking of the reverse design. Beneath the eagle, faint remnants of outlines can be seen, almost like a shadow of another design that does not match the normal 1993 quarter. This has led some collectors to suspect that the quarter may have been struck over a previously minted coin or possibly over a foreign coin planchet that already contained elements of another design. Overstriking errors are considered some of the rarest and most valuable in history because they represent moments where minting operations became seriously misaligned. Even the possibility of an overstrike increases the coin's value exponentially. The strangest of all anomalies on this extraordinary 1993 P quarter is the mint mark itself. Mint mark anomalies attract huge attention because mint marks are supposed to be precise, deliberate, and carefully placed. But on this coin, the letter P appears with dramatic doubling, stretching, and displacement. Instead of appearing neatly under the date, the mark appears slightly eastward, raised, and rotated. The doubling of the mint mark looks like it was stamped twice or struck on a vibrating die that moved during the striking process. Mint mark errors became increasingly rare after the 1990s due to improvements in die creation methods, so finding such a dramatic error on a 1993 coin is extremely unusual. This adds more mystery to the story and raises questions about what exactly was happening at the mint during this production batch. Collectors also point to the coin's unusual toning. The surface shows a range of colors that are not normally found on a modern clad coin. Subtle shades of blue, gold, and violet spread across the surface, indicating unusual chemical reactions either from the metal composition or from the intense pressure and heat generated during the repeated strikes. Toning like this is highly prized by collectors because it can give the coin a unique and beautiful appearance, but in this case, the toning also serves as additional evidence that something unusual occurred in the minting chamber. The more experts analyzed the coin, the more questions arose. How did a single planchet survive so many abnormal stages of production? Why wasn't it rejected by quality control? My dear history lovers, once again thank you for joining this deep dive into one of the most unexpected and unbelievable treasures hiding right in plain sight, a coin so ordinary at first glance that most people would pass it in their change without a second thought, yet so extraordinary beneath the surface that its hidden value reaches a mind-shattering figure of $728,000 million. Now we are exploring the story, rarity, mysteries, and error-driven possibilities behind the 2002 United States Liberty Quarter Dollar, a coin whose true worth has become the center of fascination, speculation, excitement, and shock in the world of collectors and treasure hunters. As we begin this journey, imagine holding a simple quarter, a piece of everyday pocket change, and suddenly realizing that within your hand rests a fortune unlike anything you could have imagined. That is the feeling that has captivated searchers around the world as they chase after the elusive, error-filled, ultra-rare 2002 Liberty Quarter that defies logic with its astronomical estimated value. The 2002 Liberty Quarter dollar may seem like an ordinary coin minted during the United States' transition into the state quarter program era. However, beneath the appearance of just another modern coin lies a web of minting oddities, production anomalies, metallurgical mysteries, and mint mark peculiarities that elevate certain examples far beyond normal numismatic expectations. What makes this coin so special is not a single factor but rather a combination of rare circumstances, unusual strikes, and once-in-a-generation mint mistakes that have the potential to turn a mass-produced circulating coin into a life-changing treasure. When collectors talk about error coins, they usually refer to minor misstrikes or slight shifts, but the rumors and findings surrounding this extraordinary 2002 specimen go far beyond the ordinary world of coin errors, moving into a realm where mystery meets possibility in a way that continues to excite experts and enthusiasts. The story often begins with individuals unknowingly coming across what seemed like a regular quarter, only to later discover strange imperfections in the metal. Distortions in the lettering, unexplained doubling on the date, or mint mark anomalies that point toward a rare and unintentional variation created during the minting process. The coin's 2002 date places it at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning equipment, adjusting production cycles, and dealing with changes tied to the massive release of state quarters. During busy production years, errors become more likely, especially when pressure, speed, and volume increase. It is during these hectic moments that some of the most unusual and valuable error coins in American history have emerged. The 2002 Liberty Quarter sits squarely in this atmosphere of high output and occasional oversight, providing the perfect environment for a mistake of monumental rarity. Collectors report a wide array of possibilities when it comes to the errors that give this coin its surreal value. Some speak of double-struck versions where the designs appear shadowed or where parts of the Liberty profile seem stretched across the surface in ghost-like outlines. Others speak about off-center strikes where Liberty appears shifted in unexpected ways, leaving blank spaces on the coin that were never meant to exist. There are also cases of broad strikes which cause the coin to expand beyond its normal border, creating a distorted edge and expanding the diameter in a way that makes the coin stand out instantly from regular examples. These are the kinds of errors that collectors immediately recognize as significant, but in the case of the 2002 quarter, the errors go even deeper than the obvious. The mint mark is one area that has generated massive interest because unusual mint mark misplacements, mismatching dies, or faint, almost ghost-like impressions can dramatically expand the value of a coin. With the 2002 Liberty Quarter, experts have noted possibilities of distorted or incorrectly applied mint marks, especially the rare situation where the mint mark appears doubled, tilted, or partially missing. There has even been discussion about hybrid die combinations, where components from different setting cycles were mistakenly paired together, resulting in one-of-a-kind striking anomalies. Such a combination instantly propels a coin from ordinary circulation status to a rarity capable of commanding unimaginable figures in the private collector world. Another fascinating element that contributes to the stunning value of certain 2002 quarters involves the metal composition itself. While modern quarters are made using a clad combination of copper and nickel, there are cases throughout history when planchets meant for another denomination accidentally entered the wrong production line. This could be a copper cent planchet, a nickel planchet, or even a silver planchet leftover from prior minting years. If a 2002 quarter was struck on a planchet with the wrong metal composition, even unintentionally, it instantly becomes a numismatic sensation. Some collectors have described coins that feel lighter or heavier than normal, coins with unusual coloring, coins with surfaces that reflect light differently, and coins that seem to have inconsistencies in the metal layers when examined under magnification. Any of these possibilities would elevate a coin's rarity dramatically, and if the wrong planchet strike happened during a year as busy as 2002, it could explain how a one-in-a-billion minting accident gave rise to the legendary $728,000 million valuation placed on the rarest known example. The date itself is another aspect that attracts attention because doubling of the numbers or partial misstriking of the digits can indicate a mechanical malfunction or a misalignment between the working dies. When the date displays unusual distortion, such as a shadowed 2, a stretched 0, or a faint overlapping 2, collectors see it as a sign that something remarkable happened during the creation of the coin. These subtle but powerful errors can be easy to miss unless someone examines the coin carefully, which is why so many people emphasize the importance of looking at the date under magnification. A double die date is one of the most valued errors in numismatics, and if a 2002 Liberty quarter exhibits a dramatic or clearly visible doubling, it could easily be the reason behind its astronomical value. Beyond the physical characteristics, the story and mystery surrounding rare 2002 quarters add to their sense of uniqueness. There are stories of people finding such coins in old drawers, coin jars, or inherited collections only to later realize that what they possessed was far from ordinary. Some tales describe individuals who set aside a 2002 quarter simply because it looked odd compared to the rest, unaware that they were preserving a treasure that collectors and private buyers are willing to pay fortunes for in today's high-stakes numismatic market. The mystique of the coin, the uncertainty surrounding its origins, and the excitement of discovering one contribute to its legendary status among rare modern coins. Collectors often emphasize that coins like this become valuable not simply because they are old or because they exist, but because they harbor extremely rare combinations of factors that almost never align in the same way twice. A coin with an error is one thing, but a coin with multiple errors, unusual mint characteristics, unlikely die pairings, or wrong planchet composition enters a completely different level of rarity. When these elements overlap in the right way, suddenly a coin becomes incomparable, unique in the truest sense of the word, and capable of reaching valuations that go far beyond what anyone would expect from a modern circulating coin. The 2002 Liberty quarter that has reached the staggering valuation of $728,000 million is believed to be one such example, a coin whose combination of minting oddities makes it not just rare, but legendary. The journey of collectors searching for these coins is another part of what makes the topic so enthralling. People across the United States and beyond have begun examining their pocket change more closely, checking coin rolls from banks, studying inherited collections, and exploring forgotten boxes from years past. There is something magical about the idea that an ordinary person, with no special equipment and no special training, could stumble across an object that transforms their life forever. That dream keeps the search alive and fuels the ongoing fascination with rare quarters. The fact that such a spectacular treasure could hide within a coin worth only 25 cents on its surface makes the story irresistible. In discussions among experts, some believe that perhaps only a single example of the most extreme error-filled 2002 quarter exists, while others think there could be several undiscovered specimens still waiting to be found. The possibility that someone, somewhere, might be carrying one unknowingly in their wallet or keeping it in a jar of loose change is part of what makes the excitement surrounding this coin so intense. Every day, people come forward with coins they want evaluated, hoping theirs might show the same rare characteristics that mark the legendary specimen. Even though most examples turn out to be normal, the hope remains alive because the rarest anomalies in coin history often appear in the most unexpected places. My dears, now we discuss about another fascinating journey into one of the most unbelievable and extraordinary modern coins the United States Mint has ever produced, a coin that at first glance appears to be nothing more than a simple 25-cent piece from the year 2020, yet has become the center of a storm of curiosity, speculation, amazement, and myth. Now we dive into the astonishing story of how a single Liberty quarter dollar from 2020, a coin struck in a year marked by confusion, pressure, production overload, and unexpected minting irregularities, came to be associated with a mind-shattering estimated value of $722,000 million. Imagine the idea that a coin minted so recently, circulating in pockets, wallets, drawers, and coin jars across the country, could contain an error so improbable, so bizarre, so astronomically rare that its value climbs not into the thousands, not into the millions, but into a level so high it almost defies imagination. And yet that is the tale that has captivated collectors, curious minds, and treasure hunters as they search for the nearly mythical 2020 Liberty quarter possessing errors so unique that it is believed to be one of the most valuable modern coins ever rumored. When you hear the year 2020, you immediately think of the chaos, unexpected challenges, and unprecedented shifts that affected nearly every aspect of life, including the operations of institutions like the United States Mint. Production schedules were disrupted, staffing levels fluctuated dramatically, minting facilities faced increased pressure to keep up with circulation demands, and machinery ran at levels rarely seen before. These conditions, unusual in the modern era, created a perfect atmosphere for mistakes. Throughout history, the rarest and most valuable error coins have come into existence during times of intense production strain, and 2020 was exactly that kind of year. This makes the existence of a coin like this filled with strange anomalies, distorted features, minting inconsistencies, and surprising defects not only possible, but believable. The excitement surrounding this coin stems from the belief that it is the product of a once-in-a-generation minting error born from a year in which nothing went according to plan. Collectors have long understood that the modern minting process is a field governed by precision so refined that even the tiniest deviation can create a coin that breaks from the norm. And yet, despite the tight controls and advanced technology used in modern production, errors still happen. In fact, when the systems are pushed to their limits, the chances increase. The 2020 Liberty Quarter Dollar is the perfect example of this convergence. Some collectors believe that the coin owes its unimaginable value to a string of overlapping errors that occurred simultaneously, something so rare that it is believed only a single example, or perhaps a small handful, could ever have been produced. Among the first signs that drew attention to this incredible coin were strange distortions visible across the Liberty profile. Some witnesses described the image as appearing almost ghost-like, as though multiple impressions overlapped each other slightly, creating a doubled or shadowed effect. This type of doubling can occur when the die shifts at the exact moment of striking, creating a perfect yet unintended second image. Doubling on the date, doubling on Liberty's outline, doubling on the inscriptions, or doubling near the mint mark are all possible outcomes of a mechanical malfunction. When doubling occurs in a dramatic and unmistakable form, it immediately elevates a coin into the realm of extreme rarity. In the case of the 2020 Liberty Quarter, the doubling was reportedly so distinct that it gave the entire coin an unusual depth, as if the design were layered in a way that no normal coin exhibits, but the doubling alone was not what set this coin apart. Another anomaly noted by experts involved off-center striking. Off-center strikes occur when a planchet is not perfectly aligned within the collar before the dies strike it. Normally, off-center coins are minor, but in rare cases, the strike can be dramatically off, leaving part of the design cut off or creating blank, empty areas where the metal was never imprinted. The 2020 Liberty Quarter, said to be worth this astronomical value, displays an extreme off-center impression combined with doubling. Alone, each of these errors is already valuable. Together, they are an anomaly so rare that collectors have difficulty comparing it to anything else from modern minting history. Another error that multiplies the rarity of this 2020 specimen is believed to involve the mint mark. Mint mark anomalies are extremely important in numismatics. When mint marks are misplaced, doubled, faint, inverted, or struck using the wrong die, the result can create a one-of-a-kind coin. In the chaotic environment of 2020, it is rumored that some dies used to create certain quarters were mismatched during production runs, possibly resulting in unusual mint mark configurations. A mint mark that appears tilted, shadowed, partially missing, or unexpectedly placed can dramatically increase collector value. What makes the 2020 quarter particularly compelling is that the mint mark error allegedly seen on this coin does not resemble any previously documented error in modern U.S. coin production, contributing further to its mythical status. Another theory that fuels the coin's unbelievable value is the possibility that it was struck on the wrong planchet. Every year, planchets destined for pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and other denominations flow through different production channels, and although rare, mistakes can happen. Occasionally, a quarter may be struck on a dime planchet or a cent planchet, creating an immediate rarity. Even more intriguing is the possibility of a transitional metal error, where leftover planchets from an earlier composition accidentally enter a later production cycle. Although quarters in 2020 are intended to be copper-nickel clad, the theory suggests that a few stray planchets with incorrect metal content might have been fed into the coining press. If the legendary 2020 quarter were struck on a silver planchet, a foreign planchet, or a pre-clad experimental planchet, its value would instantly escalate beyond anything seen in ordinary circulation. A wrong metal error combined with doubling and off-center striking explains how such a coin came to be associated with a valuation so shockingly high. Some collectors who claim to have seen or studied images of this rare coin describe unusual texturing in the metal, as though the surface were touched by heat or pressure levels beyond normal minting standards. This may suggest a malfunction in the machinery that created a flawed pressure strike. When a coin's metal expands, distorts, or compresses in unexpected ways, the resulting anomalies make it highly collectible. There are even reports that the edge of the coin displays irregular reading patterns, with inconsistent spacing or partially missing segments. Irregular reading is another sign of a mechanical issue during striking. While most collectors are used to encountering reeded edges that are uniform and clean, a coin with inconsistent reading instantly stands out as a minting anomaly. Other possibilities extend into the realm of multiple die clashes. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike one another without a planchet in between, transferring faint outlines of one design to the other die. When a proper planchet is later struck, the clash marks can show up as ghost-like patterns across the coin's surface. Evaluators of the 2020 error specimen believe that unusual clash marks, perhaps from a misaligned die pair, appear on the coin and form patterns unheard of in previous minting records. These mysterious patterns add yet another layer of uniqueness to the coin's already impressive list of errors. The historical context of 2020 also plays an important role in why this coin captures so much imagination. During the early months of the year, coin circulation saw unusual disruptions, and shortages began affecting banks and retail stores. The mint responded by increasing output, adding strain to its facilities. Whenever production increases dramatically in a short time, the risk of human error grows. Understaffing, rapidly shifting schedules, reduced inspections, and mechanical overuse all open the door for rare and extreme minting mistakes. Taking this into account, the idea that a unique coin like the legendary 2020 quarter could emerge becomes not only believable but expected given the circumstances. Collectors also appreciate the symbolic importance of the 2020 date. Because the year holds such historical significance worldwide, objects tied to that year automatically receive increased cultural value. When you combine this cultural significance with an error of historic scale, you get a coin that transcends its physical form and becomes an artifact of a moment in time unlike any other. People who imagine owning such a coin feel like they are holding a piece of history, a symbol of a year that changed the world in countless ways. There are numerous stories circulating about individuals encountering odd 2020 quarters and wondering whether they possess the legendary specimen. Some say they found coins with slightly off coloring, others noticed faint doubling under magnification, and still others claim to have discovered coins with distorted lettering.